GM.
What's going on? Mr. Yellow rocking the red stunners.
Mate, best part of yesterday that these turned up from Old Waldo. I was well chuffed. But it actually ties us into the conversation we're going to have, doesn't it?
It
Because
certainly does, but I'm a little bit jealous, I must say. I was there at the club. I saw ZZ with the stunners, and I just wasn't bright enough in the moment to grab them. That's
yeah,
okay. You look great.
well, anything that partially hides my face, I think, is an advantage.
Well, also they double as a weapon if necessary. So
Oh man, they are
yeah,
dangerous.
yeah, 100%. Security, security
Security.
was right when they took those away from us at the club. But let's not segue too much. It is part of the conversation, though. I do want to say or ask, do those alter your perception of colors? Is it? I feel like that
Very
might.
much so.
Okay.
Very much so.
Hmm.
Everything is red. Um,
Oh, right.
It makes using the computer in the most basic way very difficult, but luckily you're driving, so it doesn't particularly matter.
Oh, I'm driving this. Oh,
Yes,
I'm
yes,
I'm
yes.
Well, I wouldn't want to drive with those on because it might interfere with my vision. They might have use though in other terms. We can talk about that in a more smooth space one day. A little
Yeah.
bit of deeper inner anyway. Yeah, no, what I wanted to talk about and what we're here to discuss is NFT NYC tutu collections.
Choo-choo.
Tutu.
I love it.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I have these collections of NFT photography which were minted from tangible film directly to the blockchain. But do you have I want to see you have any particular questions? Maybe you can guide me through this.
Yeah, so do you want to like bring up the images, mate? Because I know we're
Yeah.
pretty, but it's the images we're talking about. Um,
We are ready to
yeah.
roll.
So cool. Okay, mate. Well, do you want to just tell us a bit about yourself and your background and what you've done before this, maybe, and how
I
you got
I,
to Web3?
I realize it doesn't look like I've experienced much, perhaps, but I am almost 40 years old. I'm going to be 39 this year. And in my time, I've definitely experienced a lot. And from as young as I can remember and being able to pick up a camera, I was photographing. I have film and everything archived, saved as far as I could go back. And that was always my passion that kind of drove me. I love capturing images. I love photography, particularly film photography, and that's the age I grew up in. And Polaroids, all the rage. But in high school, I took a class and I had a great teacher, and I was like, I want to become a professional photographer. I'm not exactly sure what I want to shoot, because you kind of have to have your niche. Um, and I had the opportunity to experience black and white dark rooms, and then with the inception of digital, I found myself at one point in commercial photography. But prior to that, I was working in commercial real estate. So I actually was working in commercial real estate as an acquisitions manager, and I was running numbers, and we were acquiring multifamily properties over 100 units. This is my analytical combo creative brain. Um, yeah, and we had 2 years of that, and one day I walked in, and my boss is like, "What done? The investors pulled out. You got 2 weeks." That's not what he. That's not at all what he sounded like. But but it was kind of a slap in the face, and that was about 2008. That was when that real estate that bubble kind of burst. Another market cycle, and I decided to go back to school, and I finished my degree, and I got my BFA in photography in 2010. And for 10 years, I went from a commercial photography internship to being a commercial photographer for 10 years, focusing on corporate portraiture, architecture, The one of the photographers I worked with primarily, he was a aerial photographer with helicopters, and used very specialized pilots and very specialized equipment to capture shots that you would get like at night and things like that. So then with the inception of drones, we got into drone photography. Very, it's very cool, very exciting, technology. But the business of it was no fun, and as any creative out there, that it's someone else telling you what to do, and you can lose touch with your passion, and I did. 100%. So yeah, my kind of journey into Web3 happened with with Shiba Inu and Crypto.com, and I actually started with some work on Crypto.com, and found myself coming to the Ethereum side, and find myself here now with a couple of sold out collections actually, which is crazy to even say, because especially one of my collections is Morse moods. I'll just touch on that real quick. And actually, I love how these come up. Just very specific names that I've chosen. Mental health awareness, which is something I'm very passionate about, being a neurodivergent human being, like most creatives are. We all deal with a lot, and this is my passion to kind of put this out there, and to have this sell out was incredibly powerful, and I see that, how it can grow and bring awareness to that. But that being my second sold out collection, the first one was a small 9-piece collection of hand-drawn pieces, fiat skulls. I don't know if you want to see that, but I'll show it to you real quick. Let's see if it comes up under my... It does. I think we have a 15 ETH floor, so if anybody's interested,
get in now.
Get in now. Not financial advice, but let me circle back. So NFTNYC 22 also is a very specific name that I chose. As you can see,
very clever though, mate. Very clever, because OpenSea search is a bit of a nightmare.
100%.
Yes.
And I secured all of the ENSs for all of this stuff. So I believe that wallet should actually come up as NFTNYC 22. So you see both collections come up as soon as you type that in, just like with all of my other collections, which is great to know. They're all unique. I guess we could start with that. I separated this. What happened is,
I've got some questions before you go into it, mate.
Yes.
So we talked about it before you went there, and you went with a specific approach, which was all about trying... Well, it's very analog, wasn't it? Not digital.
Yeah. It was I kind of went in with this concept of, I'm going to take point and shoot film cameras, obviously using, film, 35 millimeter film. I chose various particular films, some that I'm comfortable with, some that were new to me that I've always wanted to try. And it was a release. It was a relinquish of control to my eyes, to the creative process, to reconnecting with like my love for street photography on a level that after I got the images back, I literally cried when I got the scans back, because I just, with film photography, you don't know what you get until you have the negatives developed, or maybe and scanned if you need them digitized in this case. So this is an analog medium where I went around New York with these point and shoot film, and I was just kind of generally aiming and framing up, shooting from the hip, but really shooting from all angles, knowing what I'm going to capture in these, analog moments in time. These, so basically taking these moments from NFT NYC, walking around, capturing what I saw in the moment, decisive moments, and taking those moments and minting them as one of one moments in time onto the blockchain.
Yeah, and it's also very different to your normal style with some of your other collections, isn't it? That's you're very good at your trade, and you're very capable of the structured and the framing, and getting everything just so.
I would be considered a straight shooter.
Okay.
It would be the guy who, you're framing everything up in camera, and it's literally the term. You frame up in camera, especially even in digital, because digital, it's you have to edit. You're editing it. You're doing a lot of work. These images from NFT NYC, there's zero editing. It's scan to mint. So, but yes, framing up in camera, lighting something correctly if you're using lights. I was very specific. Manual shooter, raw shooter, and digital. And this was, a release and a relinquish of control to the tangible medium.
Yeah. And you also met up with someone at NFTNYC, didn't you? So you tried some different stuff because of that meeting. Do you want to just tell people about that?
I did. So basically, and this is actually part of the story. I'm not sure how long this is going to take to load. These are 30 megabyte files. These files will blow up to like billboards incredibly, beautifully. That's Fidel everywhere. Fidel everywhere. Fidel Amos. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. He's a street photographer. We're around the same age. He's a couple years older than me, but I met him having lunch with the developer from Pokies, Max, and I met Fidel. And Fidel is an incredibly talented and successful street photographer. His collections have sold out on OpenSea, black and white street photography. And actually, let me just see, I'll pull one of these up. This is when we were having lunch. As you can see, all of the titles are creative and specific. All of the images, sorry about that, all of the images have some sort of a description or story. So this is where I was sitting with Fidel, enjoying a lovely networking lunch. My friend chose the spot, that being Max, developer from Pokies. We were at Flatiron Burger and Lobster. I was really enjoying that lobster bisque. And I really did look up, and I just appreciated that, that moment and the architecture, and looking at it now, all of those lines and leading lines and the reflection in the mirror. Like I really enjoy looking at the images. Also, I thought it would be really cool to associate traits with every image. I don't know how many people have kind of played with that, but it's like, giving it the story and then giving it rarities and properties too that are associated with it. They're still being calculated. I think they'll get fully calculated once everything gets fully minted to the blockchain on the sale. But yeah, depending on the camera, depending on the film, and depending on the location. And then on top of that, I'll jump over to the color collection real quick. There are some special editions. I wanted to separate the collections because they felt very different to me in their aesthetic. And but these two images here, these are special editions. So I was lucky enough to attend the performance from Sammy and Violetta at NFTNYC, and I captured these moments in time, and they were minted directly to the blockchain. I see that some rarities have been calculated. That's really cool. Sorry, my heart's fluttering a little bit. You have the camera, the film, the location, and then special edition moonshot. And the other special edition, so I airdropped these, each one to Sammy and one to Violetta, so you can see. There you go. I love that that's starting to pull that data up. It hasn't clicked in the other collection, but so basically, you were very successful at sniping the first test sale at 0.1. Both collections have sold and established a new floor value of 0.22, which goes along with the story of Tutu NFT NYC Tutu. I'm like proud of myself, to be honest with you. Like I love what I created, and as an artist that like does not happen very much, and it came from a release and a relinquish, and just letting my passion and just instinct of that medium in particular, and over 30 years of knowing that medium, like
and it's your story of NFT NYC. Tutu. isn't it? You know,
Toot toot.
it's literally you going around. And I must admit, mate, it was, you know, I've been kicking your ass saying get these out. You know, these I loved looking through all of them. I don't know how you got it down to this number, um, but it
Well, I was limited. I mean, when you're shooting film, you're limited to obviously the shots you can shoot, and then I did narrow it down a little more with editing.
and that's
And
not Photoshop or any crap like that, is
this
it?
is
That's
this
the photo.
is this is this this
Yeah,
one I might have framed up a little bit, but yeah, click to chemical development, to scan, to naming those files, hand minting each piece, writing each description, titling everything. They call it lazy minting, but it's hardly lazy. It was a labor of love to get this, but there is zero editing. It's exactly how these images would appear on the negative.
yeah. And I agree. Two collections definitely. There's a hugely different feel um, between the two collections, just because of the color and black and white. And I'd really encourage people to like open them up and have a look. Um,
100%.
there's some fantastic images in there, and if people don't pick them up fast enough, they will be gone.
There is
Hey, not
also
that don't show that one, mate.
there's a lot of detail in these images. I will say, we'll get into that real quick, and then we'll keep this short and concise. But I want to touch on your successful testament. But honestly, there is such an incredible amount of detail that's really only appreciated when you really zoom in and dive in,
Yeah,
because these are scanned down to the grain. So you can see everything. It's incredible. But good job on this one. I had a little mistake. As you can see, this is also super rare because Times Square. But also, I mentioned this. I was like, everything's coming back at me. So I was okay with my mistake. And, imperfection is perfection. You got a super rare and incredible image, a moment in time. I'll just leave that at that.
it is awesome. As you know, I was gutted when you put the two test ones up because I only had enough for one. But they were both the images that I loved. So congratulations to the other person that got in there.
100%. And also, in case anyone is, as it loads, nuts for nuts. Broke a couple rules there, but something about that one is totally unique too. Anyway, wanted to keep this short. We're at 17 minutes. So,
Yeah.
any questions to wrap up that you could think of?
So no, I just think it's like, where do you go? You go to OpenSea, you search for what is it, Stephen? NFTNYC.
Tutu. Tutu. Oh, once you type in that tutu, it really narrows it down to the two collections: NFT NYC, tutu, black and white, NFT NYC, tutu, color. Wow, we can't be doing that, or maybe we
No,
can.
and some again, big shout out to Shonen Junk for the stunner shades that have somehow
Donna
found their
Summer.
way to Canada from NFT NYC and across to the UK. So I am loving these. They are
I'm very
dangerous
jealous.
weapons, but I'm a dangerous weapon too. So go and have a look. Have a look through the photos. Stephen will be doing more detailed sort of sessions. We might, even maybe do a space and feature some of the pieces, talk a bit deeper about some of the individual pieces. But yeah, I really encourage you to have a look through. There's some absolutely fucking awesome shots in there, mate. I
Thank you.
don't think they'll be up there for too long.
I certainly hope not, that's gonna hit me really hard. I might have to get moody and just jump off from my Morse Moods account and let everyone know that I'm super emotional. I will say, don't wear those when you're selecting anything visually. It probably is gonna alter your perception slightly. It might not even be good for your eyesight on a prolonged usage. They're
It's
dangerous in
definitely
multiple
not.
ways, apparently. Anyway,
But they are
that's
cool. So
they are very cool.
you got to suffer for that.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Well, it's been great, and we'll definitely be in spaces chatting a bit more about this. And you're on Violetta and Sammy's Megaspace later, aren't you?
I will be there tonight. Yep, I will.
So that's in about 4 hours, I think.
Something like that. Twitter will
Something like
remind
that.
me. Thank you for the
Yeah.
reminders, Twitter. We appreciate those. Otherwise, I would forget.
Yeah. So cool.
I'll
I
catch
will
you.
see you there, mate.
Sounds good. Thanks for stopping by.
Congratulations, mate. It's
Thank
a
you.
lot of effort to get that up there. I love the properties. I love the photos.
I
Nice
appreciate
work.
you. Anybody that resonates with it. Yeah. Thanks for stopping by, guys. We'll talk to you soon.